Hello and welcome to Open Invite. Today we're looking at a podcast, a clip from a podcast. A guy called Shawn Ryan, if you've never seen him before, he is an ex-Navy SEAL. Now, when I started doing my trucking and driving HGVs, he was one of the people that I kind of listened to and enjoyed his podcast. And in the time I was driving, he gave his life and became a Christian, which was a place where I was struggling at the time, and I really I got a lot out of that period of him giving his life and the process. It was actually Jim Caviezel who pushed him over the line to give his life to the Lord. Now he's still working that out, as all of us are. So you know, if you're in the comments and you say, well, he said this and he said that and blah, blah, I don't care. I'm not interested. We're not here to rate somebody else's level of Christianity. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. When we are, then we have we have full permission, or if we're in relationship with this person. But I'm not, so I can't say anything. As I would also say about churches, I'm not rating anybody's church or religion. So this guy that he's got on, let's go to the other camera. Let's just move it. This chap is a pastor of a church in Texas called Gateway, I think. I don't know anything about the church, but I know he's a pastor, and one of the things he talks about is near-death experiences. Now, that's something else I listened to, was an audio book that collated a lot of people's near-death experiences, not even from a Christian point of view, and that blew my mind and made me even more convinced that Jesus is who he said he is. So let's get into this. I believe he's talking about, so it's not that it happened to him, it happened to somebody else, and he's retelling the story. The man, I think, is called John Burke.
The CEO,
Yeah,
he was
John
a
Burke.
pharmaceutical executive and then a CEO of several biomedical companies. Again, these guys are like, they got a lot to lose. In fact, when he first read my book, Imagine Heaven, and he came to me and he was nervous about talking publicly about it because he was like, my career will be gone. Mm-hmm. And yet they do, you know?
I've never read his book, so I don't know. But yeah, we'll keep going.
But he is there with Jesus. He had 6 embolisms travel up his leg and had a pulmonary embolism, blocked his breathing. Then his body goes into sepsis, shuts down. And he finds himself in, again, this incredibly beautiful place. And he's with Jesus. He's walking with him. And then Jesus starts to show him these vignettes of his life. Okay? And there's like a life review. Now, in his case, it wasn't.
Man, I tell you what, if there's one thing that scares me, it's getting to heaven and having to look through my life. Oh my word. Like, just the memes on Instagram alone. Oh, I'll be there for ages.
Everything. But he showed him these different points. And this one was, well, first he had a really hard upbringing. So he had no friends. He was in and out of the hospital a lot. He was overweight, so he was bullied a lot. And Jesus is showing him this. And he's like, why are you showing me this? Like, I mean, he's basically like, this sucks. Why are you making me relive this? Because they not only see it, you feel it, you think it, you remember everything as if you were re-experiencing it. But not just what you were thinking and feeling, what the other people you were interacting with were also thinking and feeling.
Man, that's crazy.
So it's like you experience your life in a relational way from God's perspective. That's what's so life-altering about it. But what was kind of cool in Randy's case is he asked, why are you showing me this?
That's a really scary thought, isn't it? You relive in the moments, and then you realise what everybody else was thinking. Oh, no, that's terrifying.
And then it dawned on him. were you there with me? And Jesus looks at me and he says, I was always with you, just waiting for you to turn to me. And he was basically showing him that, even in all the suffering, he's been there through it. He's been there with him. And he goes to another venue where he sees himself now, and he became an atheist. He went to Northwestern University. He tried to disprove God and disprove all religions, and he went through this whole, he was a pretty mean atheist for a while. And so he's working as an orderly in a hospital.
Don't you think that's interesting? You see that a lot when somebody says, "Oh, I'm an atheist." It's a bit like being a vegan. They're quite militant. I've not met an atheist that's like, oh, I'm an atheist and been chilled. I mean, maybe there are out there, but I've not met one that. But maybe I'll put this out there: the atheists that are chill probably wouldn't tell me that they're atheists because I'm a Christian. They'd be like, well, that's what you believe, that's fine. But it's a funny thing, isn't it? They can be really militant, and normally it's to do with some serious hurt going on.
And he goes to serve food to this little 7-year-old boy dying of cancer. So this is Randy standing with Jesus in this heavenly experience, watching and experiencing this scene play out again. And the little boy, he comes in, and the little boy said, I'm dying, but I'm going to go to heaven. Whew. And Randy said, well, I'm really sorry, but if there is a heaven, I'm sure you will go there. And the little boy said, do you believe in Jesus? And he said, no, I don't really believe in all that, but I'm glad you do. I'm sure you'll be there. And the little boy, this little 7-year-old dying of cancer, right? And he says to him, I'm going to pray for you, and you'll be there too. And Randy's standing there with Jesus in heaven, watching this little boy pray for him, who he didn't even know. And he realizes that God used even that in all the things of his life to get him there.
Wow.
And so the reliving these life reviews.
I gotta stop doing these because I end up super emotional. My word.
What people commonly say to me is that it was their whole life. And like Dr. Mary Neal said, it was like my life was laid bare for all its good and all its bad. And so they're seeing this again. Now, here's the thing, Shawn, is most people fear that. I have. There are things in my life I don't want to sit there and watch before God, right? And then I started to realize, okay, wait a second. This is God. Do I really think I've been hiding? Mm-hmm. Do I really think he doesn't know everything? And that's the reality. No, he's been with you always. And when you start to realize the character of God, that God cares about us, like you care for your little son, like I care for my daughter and son, my little granddaughters, more so, infinitesimally more so. And he has compassion and mercy, and he wants to help us. He's not a condemning. That's what Jesus said. I didn't come to condemn. I came to rescue. And so that's what near-death experiencers commonly say. They say, God was not judging me. I was judging myself. God was unconditionally loving me and support.
Just have a think for a second, right? What unconditional love looks like. Because we hear it said, but we don't really realise what unconditional love is. So that is like, I think the closest you could get to unconditional love is probably a dog. Because you get a dog, it will always, if you get a loyal dog, that is, it'll always love you. And even if you get upset with it and you shout at it and you scold it, it will still love you. Excuse me. But with humans, I mean, you can say you love your son or your daughter unconditionally, but if they push you and push you and push you and push you enough, you do get to a point where you can't cope anymore. Maybe you don't love them. Maybe you don't stop loving them, but you can't be around them. You give up on them. And I wonder how many of our relationships are conditional. Like, I love my wife to bits, but if she ran off with the postman, our relationship would be different. The love wouldn't be the same. And so it's conditional. So to actually have God, who just, it doesn't matter what you do, nothing changes, he still loves you, and he never gives up on you. That's insane. Like, I don't think we can fathom it, truly. I don't.
Supporting me through this, learning about my life.
Why do you think humanity does put God in that box that we were discussing at the beginning, where it is judgment, rules? It's like I've always viewed him as an authority, like a
The
disciplinary.
enforcer.
You know what?
The cosmic cop.
Yeah, the cosmic cop. Well, I like that one.
Yeah, like my friend likes to say, we look at God like he's sitting up there, and he's just a little bit perturbed and angry, and like, is anybody having fun down there? Well, cut it out. Get back to work.
Yeah. Where did that come
Nothing
from?
could be further from the truth. You know what the last thing Jesus said his last night on earth before he knew he was going to be crucified? Which, by the way, I like to point out, he willingly took the bullet for us. It wasn't forced on him. He said, you could do nothing to me if it weren't the will of my Father in heaven. He took the bullet. And right before that night before, he said, this is in John chapter 15. He said, I've told you these things so that my joy would be in you and your joy would overflow. So think about it. Everything we love about this life, every good thing, every beautiful thing, all the pleasures, all the adventures, all the competition. I'm a soccer player. I still play. I love it. Where do we think we got the ability to experience good things like that?
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.
Wow. Incredible, eh? Incredible stuff. Sorry, I've just got to pause the computer. Yeah, just an amazing story. And the funny bit is, you can say, well, that's just a story, you could have made it up. But there's like thousands, tens of thousands of these encounters that have been catalogued, that have been looked at by professors, and it's a very real thing. For me, I would just say, if you are nowhere with God, then please give your life to Jesus. He loves you. God loves you. He wants to be involved in your life. It's so simple. Just ask for forgiveness of your sin. Ask Jesus into your life. Accept that he is the only way for you. And go and confess it to someone. Ultimately, it's the best thing that you will ever do. And like I say, this world has nothing really to offer us. We're only here for a very short amount of time. So get out there and enjoy life, but do it with God, because it's just so much better. It's so much more fulfilling. Just go for it. Don't wait for this to happen and that to happen and maybe this and over that, and just give your life to Jesus. It's simple. Super simple. Right. Love you all. Catch you on the flip-flop.